It was another massive recruiting weekend for Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs as they once again had some of the nation's top prospects in town to watch Georgia practice as they continue spring practice this month. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. I've got a lot of recruiting scoop for you, a lot of quotes, a lot of insider notes. Of course, you can read all about it over on dawgpost.com. That's where the five-star Georgia fans are. That's where the latest team and recruiting info is. So I've got a lot of recruiting updates to type up and get over on the website. So make sure you're checking that out. But definitely wanted to come on here and share some more notes, updates, and big time quotes from some of the best prospects in the country and multiple major Georgia targets. So let's jump right into it, right? The first guy I want to talk about is four-star running back Javian Osborne. He's out of Texas. This was his second visit to Athens over the last several weeks. He is a big-time back. He's the number 8 running back prospect in the country, number 97 overall out of Forney High School in Texas. Kind of a shorter but muscular running back with plenty of agility, plenty of speed at 5'9", 195 pounds. So he still breaks a lot of tackles. He rushed for just under 1,100 yards last year, 21 touchdowns in just 9 games. This guy is the real deal. Here's what he had to say after watching Georgia practice. He said, quote, I learned that practice is one of a kind, and I think no one practices as hard and as physical at 100% every rep than at Georgia. It's a testament to their success. Watching them practice, I liked that it was intense. I loved seeing Coach Smart out there getting to interact with his guys. So again, you got a top running back prospect from Texas in town saying how tough, how physical, how intense practice was. It really goes a long way. Now they're going to have to battle out other programs, but no doubt about it, he is one of their top running back targets. 5-star Savion Hyder, Derek Cooper, Jay Lamar out of Colquitt County. All of these are running backs to know. But if this guy said, hey, I want to jump on board and play for the Dogs, I do think this staff would welcome him with open arms. So a high 4-star running back, was really impressed with what he saw from the Georgia Bulldogs. Let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. Nick Abrams is a 6'2", 210-pound linebacker out of McDonough High School in Maryland. He's the number 18 linebacker prospect, number 259 overall. But from what I'm hearing, the staff really likes this kid, and I expect that ranking to move up over time. Just 77 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, 1 interception, 1 block punt. So the numbers aren't gonna, they're not jaw-dropping, but the kid can absolutely play. Here's what he had to say after watching Georgia practice this weekend. He said, quote, I learned a lot from this practice. The intensity that they played with and practiced with is great. The coaching and the way the players received the coaching was also good to see. My biggest takeaway was how much of a priority Coach Smart and Coach Schumann said I was. It was great to spend the weekend with them and to hang out and talk with them throughout the weekend. He said, Georgia's special to me because they meet my 3 things I want in a school. They are transparent and they have a family atmosphere. They put guys in the league and they develop young men. They also have a great education, and the connections that you can get at Georgia will set you up for life. So this is an out-of-state kid from Maryland who was impressed with everything, from the way they run practice to the coaching staff to the academics that Georgia brings. This is definitely a guy I think Georgia fans need to keep an eye on. Now, moving right along, before I say this, I'm hoping to have an update on 5-star quarterback Jared Curtis from either him or his family. Hope to have that soon over on Dawg Post. But from everything I'm hearing, Georgia rolled out the red carpet. They're doing everything they can to bring this 5-star quarterback back in the fold. So if they do, miss out on him and he ends up going to Oregon, it's not going to be because of a lack of effort. They are doing everything they can. I still think Georgia can land him. Still probably would bet Oregon, but it's not a done deal with him to the Ducks. I think I think Georgia is still positioning themselves in a good way. And I still think they are, doing everything they can to land him. Again, hopefully to have more on Dawg Post, but just wanted to share that before I forget, because I know that's the 5-star everyone wants to talk about. Zyke Helton is an interior offensive lineman, 4-star kid out of Carrollton. Here's what he had to say. He's held a Georgia offer for a long time now. He said the biggest thing that stood out was the energy and attention to detail in practice. Every rep is high intensity, and you can see why Georgia develops guys at such a high level. The coaching staff is locked in, and the players push each other every single day. What makes Georgia special is the culture. They expect to win, and they put in the work to make it happen. So that's an in-state interior offensive lineman to keep an eye on for the future. So he gave me some great quotes, so did a few others, but they weren't the only prospects in town. I'm still hoping to hear back from some guys, but one of the biggest visitors outside of Jared Curtis was Rodney Dunham. He is an elite 5-star edge defender from North Carolina, 6'4", 215. He's ranked as the number 3 edge defender and the number 19 overall prospect. Sources behind the scenes tell me that the visit went great. They expect Georgia to move up in his recruitment. And definitely a guy to keep an eye on. I know that they took 3 outstanding edge defenders in that 2025 class, but you still need pass rushers. You still need guys on the edge, and you need elite guys on the edge who can consistently get after the quarterback, and that's what this young man brings. He brings promising frame. He can still add more muscle and mass, but he's explosive off the line and a really, really good player, and a guy that Georgia fans need to keep an eye on because he's ranked pretty high. Again, he's the number 19 overall prospect in the country, and I continue to hear that Georgia has done a great job moving up in his recruitment. Another guy to keep an eye on is an Auburn commitment, someone that I've talked about in the past. Dawg Post members have read about this young man before. Shadarius Tootle, 5-star name. I'm going to say that every time I talk about this young man. I love these crazy names out there that I get. Shadarius Tootle, are you kidding me? That one's up there. I love that. 6'3", 220 pounds, at a Cottage Hill Christian in Alabama, committed to Auburn. He's the number 7 linebacker and the number 141 overall prospect. Dude made 157 tackles last year, 13 tackles for a loss. Top 10 linebacker in the country from Alabama. It's not easy to go into the Yellowhammer State, and pick up a big time prospect out of there. But kid was in Athens. He is high on Georgia, but I'm not sure exactly what it's going to take to flip him from a place like Auburn, because that's a guy that if you're an Auburn fan, if you're an Auburn coach, you can't lose this guy to Georgia, an out-of-state rival. They need guys like Shadarius Tootle to keep improving as a team and as a program. If you want to start competing with Georgia anytime soon, you can't let guys like that get out of state. He's a playmaker, no doubt about it. Size, he's productive, knows how to tackle, and a guy that Georgia obviously has their eye on. Another defensive lineman to keep an eye on, another kid from Alabama in the Birmingham area, Parker High School, is Vodney Cleveland, 6'3", 305. He's the number 10 defensive line prospect in the country, number 105 overall. So the kid's a big deal, right? Right outside of that top 100 in the country. That is a really, really good player. Had 50 tackles, 5.5 sacks last year. Pretty decent numbers considering the position he plays on the interior defensive line and the competition he's going up against on a weekly basis over there in Birmingham. He's big, he's mean, he's physical, and was in Athens this past weekend. So another out-of-state defensive lineman to keep a close eye on. Another out-of-state defensive lineman from Hoover, so again, kind of Birmingham area, Tyson Bacon. I've talked about him before. He's committed to Tennessee. Hoping to have some quotes from him and an update any minute now. I spoke with him briefly this morning. I'm hoping to get back with him as soon as this video is done, actually. So for more on him, make sure you head over to the website. But he gave me some great quotes about his first visit to Athens not too long ago. He said, that's my dad's favorite place. We love Georgia. So he's committed to Tennessee from Alabama, but he's no stranger to Athens. And he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on as well. He's a 3-star from Hoover, Alabama. Tyree Green is an in-state two-way athlete that has been on Georgia's radar for a long, long time. He's out of Buford, 5'10", 190 pounds. The number 6 athlete in the country, number 163 overall. Kid can play. He plays at Buford High School, so somewhat right down the road. He picked off 5 passes last year. 5 interceptions. That's great anywhere, but to do it at that level against really good teams every single week. He's a playmaker. He also ran for 527 yards, 8 touchdowns. Buford's a place where you don't necessarily have a ton of guys who play both ways because they're loaded. They've got guys everywhere, so they don't really need guys to play both ways. Occasionally, they'll have a big-time playmaker like Tyreek Green, like KJ Bolden, who you just have to get on the field no matter what the situation is. If you're on offense, defense, special teams, he's the guy that they say, okay, he can play anywhere. Let's get him out there. So obviously was a lockdown defender in coverage, 5 interceptions, but also ran for 8 touchdowns on offense. So this is a two-way player, one of the best in the state of Georgia for his class. He's got a Georgia offer. He's been to Athens a bunch. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on as well. So, of course, we're going to have more updates over on Dawg Post. That's where I want to send y'all. So if you're enjoying this content, make sure you head over to the website. There's still a lot going on as far as the team goes. A lot of recruiting notes, a lot of upcoming visitors. There's going to be a lot of in-state targets and other targets in Athens this week. So it's a big month, both on the recruiting trail and with the team in spring practice. So Dawg Post is where you want to be. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you over on the website.